relationships. Can't live with them and can't live without them, right? I want to offer you a piece of advice that was given to me a very long time ago. And at the time, I didn't really appreciate the beauty of this advice, but now I do as I've grown. I was about 20, 21 years old, and I was living in Ottawa at the time, working as a summer student, an engineering student at the city of Ottawa. So I actually worked for the municipality. And it was there where I encountered a gentleman there. He was a manager, and he took me along for a meeting. And as we drove to this meeting, he kind of opened up to me, and he was telling me about himself and about his life. And he had just gone through a pretty traumatic divorce. And he said to me, Veer, if there's one piece of advice I can give you, is don't date or marry anyone that has the same job as you, or has the same career as you, or works in the same profession as you do. So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't think much of it. I was dating someone at the time. I wasn't even, I wasn't asking for relationship advice. But for some reason that stuck with me, and I, as I matured, from a young man into a young adult, I started to think about that more and more, and I realized how important and how good of a piece of advice that was. And so here's my theory as to why that's so important. For a relationship to succeed, there needs to be mutual growth. Okay, both parties in the relationship need to be developing in some way, growing themselves, growing their characters. And growth, for all intents and purposes, is simply the opposite of stagnation, right? For that to happen, though, both parties in the relationship need to be bringing in something new, something unique. Now, if you're dating or married to someone who has the same education as you, works in the same career as you, in the same profession as you, maybe you work for the same company, right? You're not really bringing anything new into the relationship because you have far too much in common. And this sounds a little counterintuitive because most people think that, we have so much in common, that's why we're so good together. But no, if you find someone that you have too much in common with, don't touch them with a 10-foot pole. Get out as soon as you can, because it's not going to end well. Yeah, there's an old saying, opposites attract, and there's a reason why that saying exists, and I realize it now. You need to bring in something new, something unique, a fresh perspective into your relationship, and you need to offer your partner things that they don't currently have in their life. Whether it's your interests, or whether it's your just your outlook on certain things. You need to have that fresh perspective. Now, in my case, my fiance and I, we are polar opposites of each other. I'm the serious and the studious one in the relationship, and she's the outgoing, fun-loving, crazy one in the relationship. And we love each other very much, and we continuously grow because I offer her things that she doesn't have in her life, and she offers me things that I don't have, or I'm not proactive enough to go and get in my life. So if you've recently gone through some heartbreak and you're wondering why, ask yourself, do I have too much in common with this girl or guy? And if you're trying to get into a relationship and you find that your go-to is trying to find a commonality between you and your partner, I hate to break it to you, man or woman, get out, walk away. Find someone who is the polar opposite of who you are, and make sure that there's always going to be continuous growth in your relationship. I'd love to hear your comments on this. This is simply my own theory that I've been kind of thinking about. So whether you agree or disagree, let me know. Put it in the comments. If you like what I have to say, if you want to hear more, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you soon.